Hello everyone and welcome to the YourAverageGamer channel. In this video I'm going to be continuing on my series reviewing lesser used weapons within Caldera and seeing if they are viable within the meta. In this episode I'm going to be looking at the close range dominator assault rifle, that is the AS Val. The AS Val was added into Warzone in the first ever season switchover, so at the start of season 2. If you haven't unlocked this currently, all you have to do is get 30 headshot kills with an assault rifle, either in any of the Warzone modes, so you could use Plunder, or within Modern Warfare multiplayer. Ever since it was first added into Warzone, the AS Val has seen very limited use. The reason for this is it has an absolutely tiny magazine size, with only 25 rounds that you can extend up to 30 rounds with the use of a magazine attachment. So therefore that made this weapon very unviable in many different game modes where you need more than 30 rounds to put down multiple targets. However, as we're reviewing weapons within the solo game mode, I think this weapon can still have its place within the meta. This weapon did briefly see a time within the meta shortly after the nerf of the FFAR assault rifle during the Cold War seasons. The FFAR was being used quite a lot as a secondary, as it boasted a superior time to kill to most of the SMGs, whilst also having fantastic mobility. In the AS Val, you have a gun with a very similar build, although of course you can't put 50 rounds in this. But you do still get a fantastic TTK and brilliant mobility, similar to a lot of the SMGs you can get within Warzone. However, the short time it did make its way into the meta as a secondary, it was quite quickly nerfed shortly after, so it isn't as good now as it was previously. It previously boasted a time to kill that was far too quick for the weapon, however, of course, always limited by that 30 round mag. Its time to kill does remain exceptionally low, however, with, if you can even hit headshots, as low as 469 milliseconds, which is an outstanding time to kill. This is mainly due to it having a large fire rate of 896 rounds per minute, and also a very strong damage profile of 42 to the head, 33 to the neck and upper torso, and 27 to the stomach, arms and legs. All of this pushed out to the range of 32 meters. At 32 meters, you do get a very small damage drop off. Headshots now deal 36 damage, neck and upper torso is 28 damage, and stomach and extremity shots are 23 damage. This means that even at long range, no matter where you hit, you'll only have to hit somewhere between 10 and 15 rounds to fully down someone. And with a fire rate of 896 rounds per minute, you can hit these rounds in very quick succession. However, again, we always come back to that one limiting factor, in that if it takes, even at long range, 15 rounds, or of course if you're within the first damage range, you could down someone within 10 rounds. If it does take that long to down someone, and then you go for the finish as well, with that 30 round mag, you will have to reload before you can then move on to your next target. Within solos, of course, this often is not an issue, as long as you don't have to deal with multiple targets at once. The AS Val's tiny time to kill can actually really benefit you, as it does kill quicker than a lot of the current SMGs.
Need recon on my position.
So, the attachments that I would recommend on this weapon are, first up is actually a barrel attachment this time. Normally I would start with a muzzle attachment and put on some form of monolithic or agency suppressor so that you could get a better bullet velocity and also stay off the minimap. However, with the AS Val, it actually has a built-in suppressor, so there's no need to add one as an attachment. Therefore, the first attachment I would add is a barrel. The first barrel I would put on is the VLK 200mm OSA barrel. For a tiny additional ADS time of 23 milliseconds, you do get over 100 meters per second better bullet velocity and almost 30% better range. This bullet velocity is important as the base weapon has very, very low bullet velocity of only 380 meters per second. The second attachment I would recommend is the tactical laser. That reduces your ADS time by 36 milliseconds. As we're using this weapon as a secondary, similar to an SMG, we want to get that ADS time as small as possible, as the hip fire on this weapon isn't particularly fantastic, so you're going to want to be able to zoom in your weapon and hit targets accurately and quickly, and for that you need a low ADS time. Therefore, I recommend the tactical laser. The third attachment I would recommend is the VLK Strelok stock. For a tiny additional ADS of 8 milliseconds and some strafe speed downsides, you do get a massive 20% reduction to your horizontal and vertical recoil. So you can keep this weapon on target for as long as possible. The next attachment I would recommend is the Commando foregrip underbarrel. The reason for this is you do reduce your ADS time by 10 milliseconds and also reduce your kick, vertical and horizontal, by a further 10%. All this for, again, minor strafe speed reduction. Of course, this could be an issue, the reduction in strafe speed, as it means you can't move left to right while firing in order to stay out of their shots, as well as you could with some other more mobile SMGs. So that's something to keep in mind whilst using the weapon. The last attachment is, of course, the most important and most required, is the 30 round mag. So whilst this does add additional bullets to your magazine, for that penalty you do get some more strafe speed reduction and a tiny addition to your ADS time of 3 milliseconds. Fully kitted out, this weapon has a very paltry bullet velocity at 486 meters per second. So you'll want to be using this weapon either as a secondary or potentially as sniper support, though if you're going to do that I would probably recommend adding an optic over the tactical laser just so you can pick out targets at long range. With that low bullet velocity you may have to lead your targets if trying to use it at longer range, though of course I would recommend switching to either a fast zooming sniper such as the Kar98 or the Swiss, or an assault rifle. In this video I will be using the XM4 as my main assault rifle. And yeah, something like that which can deal with enemies at longer range is definitely what's required. Don't get into the habit of thinking that this is an assault rifle and trying to use it at assault rifle range. The attachments have also reduced your recoil by around 10 to 20% vertically and horizontally by almost 30%. And our range has been kicked out to 41 meters before that damage drop off. So yeah, what you end up with is a quick moving, very mobile, but very high damage, basically an SMG, except from you actually benefit from having the additional rounds that you can get from using an assault rifle ammo pool. Of course, you only get that benefit if you're not using an assault rifle as your primary weapon, like I'm doing here. But if you're using, say, a Kar98, then of course you get 210 rounds plus 30 in the mag, which is a lot better than having the only 150 spare that you would normally get if you were using an SMG. But you also get a fantastically low time to kill, so you can absolutely decimate opponents, particularly at close range. And yeah, as you can see here, I used it quite a few times, and anyone up close basically just gets absolutely beamed by this weapon. So I'll leave you to the gameplay here. I will be coming back at the end for my final review and where I think this weapon can fit within the meta. I hope you enjoy the gameplay.
Enemy UAV active.
Recon on my position.
UAV beginning flyover. Enemy UAV UAV active. UAV is out of fuel. Returning for resupply.
Got you that time. We got recon online.
UAV beginning flyover.
Moving.
UAV is out of fuel. Returning for resupply.
Bounty contract identified.
Gas is moving in. New safe zone highlighted.
Bounty contract identified.
Gas is inbound.
Moving.
Positive ID on the bounty target. Let's make this quick.
Heading out.
UAV active. New safe zone highlighted. Welcome to the Gulag. If you survive, you earn your freedom. Let's get this going. Taunt the enemy while you wait. Tussle, you're on. You win this fight and you return to the front line, but if you lose, you're done. Prove you can still fight, soldier. Get back out there.
Relocated, never mind. Inbound. Safe zone relocated. Loadout drop headed your way. Enemy UAV active.
New safe zone highlighted. Enemy soldier nearby. Your team is in the top 5. Let's be the last. The left is inbound. Good effect on target. Gas is moving. Enemy cluster strike. Watch your head. Gas is moving in. New safe zone highlighted. We've got gas moving in. Enemy precision airstrike. Stay alert. Safe zone relocated. Gas is moving.
So, as you can see there, nice high kill gameplay, 21 kills and the win in solos. And again, you don't get 21 kills and a win unless your weapon you're using is pretty strong. In this case, some of the upsides I found with the AS Val. First up, I found that the time to kill on this weapon was fantastic. There were a couple of gunfights where I wasn't sure if I would win, but the massive damage output from this weapon definitely helped clutch up and get past a few of the opponents. The other upside of this is that this weapon is very mobile as well, very useful, and has very low recoil, so it's very easy to stay on target. Using other weapons with low time to kill, such as the meta Owen gun setup, this does have a fantastic time to kill, but the weapon is very bouncy, so quite difficult to stay on target, whereas you have none of those issues with the AS Val. Downsides, however, obviously there's no getting past, as I've said previously, the elephant in the room, that is the 30 round mag. This magazine is very, very restrictive. Even in solos, there were times where I was having to use all of my rounds just to kill one opponent. If I'd have got third-partied or another opponent would have come, I would have had to switch to my XM4 and use that, and that's just not very practical. So within solos, yes, this could be viable, but within any other game mode, duos, trios, quads, I definitely do not think this is a weapon you should be using. Another downside to this weapon, of course, is that it doesn't quite have SMG mobility. Whilst I said this weapon's good side is that it's fantastically mobile for a low recoil weapon, if you set up weapons such as the Cold War MP5 or the MAC-10 to have even better mobility, you definitely do miss out on that slight bit of movement speed, and you do bemoan the fact that it's not there. Lastly, this weapon does lack the strafe speed. When I'm shooting someone at close range, I want to be able to strafe as quickly as possible to try and stay out of their aim, to be hit by the fewest number of bullets possible, and also take advantage of the rotational aim assist that I would get through using my controller. With this slow strafe on this weapon, I just find that it's just so hard, and you're relying on that TTK to get you through, and you can't break their aim at all by strafing left and right. Therefore, with all this taken into account, I would probably give this weapon, within solos, a 6 out of 10. It is usable, could find its place, but definitely will not be in the meta anytime soon. Outside of solos, it's probably a 3 or a 4 down to that restrictive magazine. Anyway, I really hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please check out my channel. I have many other of these solo weapon reviews, and I also have many more coming in the future. Please also drop a like and subscribe if you want to see some more of what I've got coming in the future. If you do that, I hope to catch you on the next one.